Hello everybody. Today is Thursday, March 23rd. It's 4:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The regular session for the futures just closed about 3 minutes ago. On my left is the time and sales, and we can see the Emini SP trading at 2340.50. Before I continue, first the required disclaimer. Okay, it was a mediocre day for the auto trader today, but we had a couple of standouts and a few things that I want to touch on. First up is the Emini SP on a 2500 line break chart. Each day that I plot these line break charts, I'm becoming more convinced that they offer really, really excellent potential. I've only been plotting this 2500 tick line break. This is an actual line break chart, and this has been consistent since I started showing it. Today was no exception. I believe it hit its goal of $1,000, and indeed it did. And not only that, but we had positive slippage. And here are the trades here. So we had two small losers off the open, and that only drew down about $300 on two contracts. And then we had a decent winner here, a very small loser, and then a decent winner here. And the setup on this, as far as profit targets and such, is this is actually trading three contracts. So I'm taking one contract off at 12 ticks, and then we're trailing by the volatility stop, which is the little hash mark here. And obviously, here we got stopped out. Of course, it could have gone further, but in this trade here, we did get most of the move here, and then we ended up in some chop. But point is these line break charts have been performing really well on the line break bars. The drawback to line break bars is that we really don't have any reliable way to backtest them. But that's true of really any bar type. I'm not a big fan of backtesting. So interestingly enough, here's the regular 2500 tick chart on the Emini S&P, and this is using the line break algorithm on actual tick bars as opposed to an actual line break chart. So it'd be interesting to compare the trades here. Our first trade was about 10:30. Well, this long trade actually got in at 10 o'clock, whereas on the line break chart, we got whipsawed by this false line break in the other direction, whereas on the tick chart with the line break algo, we did not get this false red bars and reversal because I have this smoothed quite a bit. Regardless, this chart had a pretty solid performance on a few trades and had a little bit more drawdown on this losing trade off the open, but still a very solid performance on the E-mini S&P. This one, I believe, is only trading two contracts instead of three. So a number of charts didn't trade today or had relatively small losers. An example of this was the NASDAQ. We had an equity high of about $500 off the open, and then the market traded kind of in a range today of about 18 points or so. And this kind of succumbed to some of this choppiness at the end and dragged it underwater, but only a loss of $80 or so. Okay, next up is the crude oil and the precision Renko. This is the only chart I show with the precision Renko, and this had a modest gain of $280. I have a client that's having great success with this chart, and the way he's using it is he has a fixed target of about 15 ticks. Had I done this, I probably would have had some really solid winner here, and then again here, and then also this one. So trading with a fixed target, I would have done far, far better today. So just talking about the fixed targets here, our entry here was 47.69, and it looks like the high tick was 91, so that was a 21 tick move. This short went at 47.79, and the low was 63. So 15 ticks, it would have made 15 ticks by a tick. This entry here was 47.75, the high being 95, that was 20 ticks. So taking profits, fixed target at 15 ticks here, we would have had 300, 600, 900, and then this one here, let's just say, so that would have been 1200. and then minus the loser here, could have ended up with about $1,100 today instead of 280 just by having fixed targets. So that's an idea that's worth exploring and considering. Okay, we had a modest gain on the Dow Emini of about $150. This was just one of those days where we didn't have a lot of standout performers. We had a few. It was a bumpy ride on the crude oil and the Super Inco 6 tick with the line break algorithm. This did 240 for the day. Most of the day was underwater, but not more than $400. There was a mixture of winning and losing trades, but we managed to come out on the plus side of the ledger with these two winning trades here towards the end. There was a loser in between that, but came out on the plus side about $240. The DAX on the Super Inco 14 tick had a minuscule gain of $87, but it looks like we had an equity high of $600 or so, as you can see here, and then we gave that back with a loser at the end. Okay, so I've stated before I'm doing some experiments with line break charts. So I created a 150 tick chart, 150 tick line break chart on the Emini SP. And my idea on this was to go with short targets, and this is a fixed target. So I'm trading 3 contracts and going with 5 ticks for the first profit target, 7 on the second contract, and then 12 on the third contract. So this is fixed profit target, a limit order at the close of the bar, and this actually performed really well up until the end. We got started off the open and quickly ran up $700 in just 10 minutes on a couple of trades, and then we drew down negative 400, and then we took off from there, and we had an equity high of about $1,000 or so. And then at the very end of trading, in the last 20 minutes of trading, we got caught up in this action here and kind of gave it all back. So we had a really great day going, a lot of great trades where you can see the length of the move that those target levels worked out pretty good. Most of these moves are a little more than 12 ticks on some of them, but this was an interesting experiment just using fixed targets. And you can see that I had this set up to pretty much take every trade. It did quite well, actually, so I'm looking forward to following this again. So had I had my time constraints or even a profit target, actually I do have one. It's set at 1200, so we must have come just shy of that. And my time constraints are, it's allowed to take trades up till 15 minutes before the close. Today that would have worked out a little better if it was, say, 30 minutes. I might have missed this action here, being that 30 minutes before the close would have been here, so we would have ended up much better. But this is the first time I plotted this chart, so I can see where I can make a few minor changes and see how it performs in the coming days. That's all for today's video. If you'd like to find out more, please contact us at Blue Wave Trading. Thanks for watching.